Hi, I'm Shreya and this is Decoding Code. In this video, we will be talking about conversions with variables in Java. And when you think about that, you might think about converting integers to longs or doubles or floats, stuff like that, which you can just basically do with typecasting. And it is very easy to do. But however, we will be doing something kind of different. We're actually going to be converting non-primitive variables with primitive variables and the other way around. So it's something that's a little bit different that you can't do with typecasting and that there are actual methods for, and I'll be showing you guys those methods right now. This can be very useful if you have data maybe in a certain type, but you need to convert it to another type to be able to maybe actually use it, manipulate it, and analyze it more. I don't really know what you need to do with that. Hopefully this helps, and I will be starting now. So our first conversion is a Boolean to a string. Now Booleans, as you know, are true or false, so you can convert that to a string that can say either true or false if the Boolean is true or false. So I created this Boolean that is just true, and now there is actually in the Boolean class, which is the class that wraps the value of the type Boolean in an object, and then you can do methods with it. And there is a .toString method that just converts it to a string representation of that Boolean, and we can just stick the Boolean right in there, and then you can see down here that it just prints as true in a string, which is pretty cool. The next one is a string to a double. Now doubles, as you know, are decimal variables. These are the ones with 64 bits, I believe. So they can have a bunch of decimals and contain that much data. So if we want to convert between a string to a double, there is actually a method for that. Now we just put the number that our double is going to be in the string, and I'm making a string called b. And then what I'm going to print out is the class double.parseDouble. So this is going to return a new double with the value that is in this string. So that basically shows me this. We can also convert from the double back to the string. So I created a new double C and put it equal to some decimal value. And then we have another method of the double class. We have .toString. Same thing like the Boolean, so most of them will have this .toString, which just returns a string representation of that, and there's also another way that I'll show you guys later. But this, we just stick the double in there, converts it to a string representation, and returns it, and then we can see that this is printed out here. Pretty cool. Another thing that we can do is convert a string to a long. So it is kind of like the same thing as the double, except longs don't have decimal, but they do contain a lot of numbers. So we have this string, and I set it equal to this large number that I'm not going to say. And we print out this long class. So there's also a long class. Does the same thing as the other classes do with the other variable types. We have this long class, and then there's .parseLong, which basically does the same thing as .parseDouble, except it takes in a string and converts it to a long instead. So this is going to give me the long with the value in the string. So we just stick in that string, and that does it for us, and we can see that it gives me this large number, which I'm not going to say. And then we can also convert back from the long to the string. Now, if you remember, when you're actually initializing a long, you need to stick the L here, otherwise it's going to be like, why did you give me this integer? I cannot store this value, it's too big for an integer. So that's why we put this L, so it recognizes it as a long, and we have this long E, which is this same long number that I'm not going to say. And so we print out this, with all of these, I just printed out like the conversion that I'm doing. So I'm printing out, so this is actually from the string class. So what this is doing is we're doing dot value of and then E. So basically this method can be used with doubles, with longs, with other primitive variable types. And so basically it just gets the value of this long and then puts it into a string. So I could have done this with the double as well. That's just another way to do it. And so we have that here, and then here is the long number. Something else that we can do is a character to an integer. Now, characters are only one single character, but something that we can do is convert it to an integer if we have that single character. So my single character is a 7, and then I'm printing out that's the title, and then there is the character class, again, just like the long class, double class, string class, same thing. And there's this method that's get numeric value. So of this character, if it is a numeric value, we can get that and then it's going to print it out. So we can see that it prints out 7. So now this is a numeric value as an integer, because most things just default to integer. And then another thing that we can do, last one guys, this one is an integer to character. Now, integers can go higher than characters can, and also the character it's called the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, and that is just the ASCII. And basically there's this kind of chart that it has that can kind of show what the character value is in a number and what the number means in different number systems and things like that. The character isn't always the number value. So if we have this integer g is 5, I'm typecasting this to a character and we have g, okay, g, and then we're adding 0. So this 0 character in the chart actually is 48. So 48, and then all the way from 0 to 9 is 48 to, what's 48 plus 9? Like 57, I believe. So basically we're doing 5 plus 48, because 5 plus 48 will be 53. And then if we typecast that to a character, then it will go back to 5, but in character form. A bit of a conversion happening here as well, but in the end, when it prints out, it gets us 5 in character form. So that is how we will convert from the integer to the characters. And I find this pretty interesting that the ASCII exists, and you can look it up and see the chart and see maybe like what character is and what it is in the decimal form and what it is in different forms of different things. So you can see that and see all of the information and data conversions and all of that. It's pretty cool. And these are the conversions in the video. Hopefully you have learned from this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I upload every week on Mondays, and I will see you guys again the next time that I upload. Bye.